Hello and welcome to round 6 of Pro Tour Cons of Tarkir here in Honolulu, Hawaii. I'm Brian David Marshall. I am joined by Pro Tour Hall of Famer Randy Buehler, and we are going to be watching two of the titans of the game play Magic. And tell us who they are and what they are playing, Randy.
Yeah, Yuuya Watanabe, two-time Player of the Year. You know, probably a future Hall of Famer. To be fair,
I mean, I'm voting for him.
Yeah, same. He's playing the Jeskai aggro deck. We've seen a couple different versions of the Jeskai aggro deck. He's showed up, you know, Mantis Riders, burn spells. Quite the nice deck. Jon Finkel, on the other side, he's playing what we've been calling unwritten devotion. It's basically the green-black devotion list. So Ross Merriam had a top 8 at a Star City event recently. A lot of people have taken that as the right way to build the green-black devotion deck. The tech that the Pantheon guys have come up with is see the unwritten. Go look at your top 8 cards. Put, hopefully, 2 creatures into play from those top 8 cards. Almost a new tooth and nail.
And, yeah, that's exactly what it is. John comes out of the gates right away with an Elvish Mystic. And it looks like we're going to have a turn 2 Cursor of Krufix from him. Assuming he has another land there, you get a look at Jon Finkel's career stats. Oh, he doesn't have the second land, but he does have Sylvan Caryatid.
Sure. 14 Pro Tour top 8s. Yeah, Watanabe senses the weakness on the mana front with no second land. He's like, kill the elf.
Yeah,
Wow.
John passes the turn without a second land.
Watanabe with 22 Grand Prix top 8s of his own, a couple of Pro Tour top 8s, couple
coming
of
up
titles.
On 400 career pro points.
Okay, still a couple hundred behind John.
Yeah.
150 or so behind
So there's an Elvish Mystic for Jon Finkel.
Yep.
And that, that immediately dies as well. This is not the Jeskai aggro deck we've.
Well, there's no blue mana.
Yeah. Oh, but there's a Goblin Rabble Master. One of the signature cards in Standard right now.
Sure. I mean, Yuya's got the Mantis Rider, but no blue mana. No, we still got a game here.
Here we go. Here comes Courser of Krufix. There's another land on top. Looks like
that fetch land went into play instantaneously. It didn't even get from the top of Yuya's deck toward his hand.
Blue land, blue mana. Here we go. And then we see, Mantis Rider, Goblin Rabble Master, Stoke the Flames, and of course, Sarkhan, the Dragon Speaker.
I got to say, we're now 7.5 hours into our coverage of the Pro Tour, and we've now seen our first copy of Courser of Krufix on camera. I think that took a little longer than most people were expecting. Definitely a lot going on in the Standard environment.
Courser of Krufix goes down. Goblin Rabble Master and 2 Rabbles come in.
Yeah, we've mostly seen Sarkhan attacking. The +1 ability is basically, I think, the only version I've actually seen on camera so far today.
Yeah, but
that -3 is pretty good, too.
I mean, certainly John is not going to put any pressure on the Sarkhan here. So gets a Temple of Malady, scries something away.
Go ahead.
What does John want to find here?
Nykthos, probably.
Here we get a look at his hand. Eidolon of Blossoms.
I mean, he's been mana pinched the whole game, right? Kept the 1 land.
See the Unwrittens.
Yeah, I mean, John's problem the whole game has been mana. Yuya's draw looks ridiculous right here, but I mean, it took him a little while to actually get here.
This is just kind of a...
Oh
my gosh. Second Goblin Rabble Master, 2 more tokens. Stoke away your Courser Krufix. Can't even count that high on the Rabble Master damage. Activate Sarkhan.
Gets in there.
Yeah, +1 Sarkhan.
Take a lot.
John is at 3.
Yeah, scoops
up the cards. Wow. That was not even a good draw from Yuuya Watanabe here.
Yeah, I mean, it was decent. It was burn heavy and light on blue, but got there. John gave him all day to put it together.
Yeah, all right. Well, you know what? We're going to get to see maybe peek in on another match after these messages while we wait for these guys to get ready for game 2.
Raise your banner. Cons of Tarkir is now available on Magic Online. Dive into the new set by downloading Magic Online at www.mtgo.com. Play Magic at a store near you every Friday. Earn Planeswalker points and battle against your friends in Friday Night Magic. October's FNM promo card is Fanatic of Xenagos. Visit wizards.com/FNM for more information.
All right, and we are back. We just watched Yuuya Watanabe take a quick game 1 against Jon Finkel. Although,
A mana screwed Jon Finkel.
what's that?
A mana screwed Jon
Manuscript
Finkel.
Jon Finkel. All right, we are going to take a look here. We're peeking in on another Pro Tour Hall of Famer, Gabriel Nassif, playing against Ari Lax.
Nassif's down to 7, it sounds like. Nassif's on the blue-black control list, so teammate of Jon Finkel's, fellow Hall of Famer. He's playing the blue-black control list that Kunio brought to the table.
It seems like that team, the Pantheon team, split down the middle of like blue-black or Unwritten Devotion.
Exactly. Yeah, the Unwritten Devotion deck is a Reed Duke design. And I said this before, but it's worth repeating. In addition to Reed Duke and half of Pantheon, Makihito Mahara also showed up with very close to the same list. That'll tell you something. They'll tell you that's an archetype worth keeping an eye on, for sure. Ari Lax is on Abzan mid-range. So, you know, Siege Rhiners, Caryatids, Coursers.
Yeah.
See a Chandra down there.
Swing.
Actually, I think this is this is Jeremy Dezani versus Shahar Shenhar. Actually,
Oh,
this
okay.
is Mardu Planeswalkers versus Jeskai Aggro.
Still cute.
There you go.
Now it's a green screen.
Well, we're gonna do the weather.
Okay. There's Lax and Nassif. Ari with the Wingmate Rock.
Wingmate Rock. Wow. Getting ether spouted.
So it's
It's a
What
nice
is
one.
what is happening here? So that's the blue-black control deck. And that is that a Perilous Vault?
It is. Yeah, that's the sweeper.
creature.
4 copies of Perilous Vault.
Where's my wrath? It doesn't have to be end hostilities.
No, we'll just play good Nevinyrral's disc. Good old-fashioned discs.
I mean, this is a little better than Nevernal's Disc in that
It's a lot better than Nevernal's Disc.
It exiles everything, right?
Right, and the disc doesn't hit Planeswalkers, which this does.
Something
guess
I'm
you get
sure
what you
you're
pay for.
very aware of from vintage rotisseries.
Indeed. Yeah, if you go back and play 90-0 control decks, it's always... you play any kind of format where those cards line up against modern cards, you're like, oh.
So, Courser of Krufix just went down, replaced by a Wingmate Rock. But no real pressure here for Gabriel Nassif to crack open the vault. Cracks a fetch line, though.
Well, what's his life total down to? I think we were told he was down to 7 when we first got here.
Yeah, there's no Sphinx's Revelation to get you back
No,
into
it's
a
true.
game here.
It's true.
Even if you have a way to draw cards, you're not gaining all that life.
Yeah, Nassif apparently down to 1.
Oh wow!
So that Perilous Vault is, in fact, going to eat just a Wingmate Rock. Nassif will have to make sure Siege Rhino doesn't resolve.
He's playing the most perilous vault. He's like, I'm gonna sack a land, go to 1, and hope for the best.
Wow, empty-handed.
Scries
No
something
cards in
away.
hand.
Yep.
Yeah,
there goes the
attack,
vault.
vault. Siege Rhino for the win?
Land, make 3 dudes.
3 dudes.
And that is Elspeth,
These aren't acceptable?
Sun's champion.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
There you
there
go.
you go.
Ari Lax takes game 1 from Gabe Nassif.
Sounds like I heard something in a French accent about mulligans. So
All 4 of our tables are between games.
there you
No
go.
live look-in. We can have a live look-in on shuffling.
My favorite.
Absolutely.
Looks like John might have mulliganed because Yuuya is showing his hand to Rashad Miller,
Sure.
which is being entered into the hand viewer.
The other match we haven't mentioned, Shahar Shenhar is playing Jeremy Dizani. Both those players are 4-1.
Right.
Shahar with the Jeskai aggro deck has taken game 1 from Dizani and his Mardu Walkers list.
Yeah.
We saw Levy get kind of run over in that exact matchup in a feature match a couple rounds ago. Dizani seems to be doing a little better with the deck. I mean, he's 2-0 with it, but down a game to Shahar.
There are some pretty interesting decks. This has been a pretty wide open format. I've seen a lot of stuff. I mean, even within just like a clan, right? Even just within Jeskai, I've
Well,
seen
yeah,
like,
Jeskai specifically has at least 3 archetypes.
at least 3 archetypes.
And we've seen multiple Mardu archetypes. That's
Yeah.
fair. Haven't seen as much Sultai as I was expecting.
No, I did see Kenji Samura and Shota Yasaoka
Yeah?
playing a Necropolis Fiend, Sidisi Blood
there you go.
Tyrant.
Yeah, I've seen some
kinda fun little
Sidisi
deck.
Whip of Erebos
Yeah,
lists
they had
floating
whip.
around.
They had whip as well.
Okay, guys, good stuff. Thank you. 17.
King of the Hill update, by the way. Tony Pantalone has taken game 1 from Park Jun-young.
Okay. Jon Finkel kicking things off here with Llanowar Wastes into Thoughtseize, so getting himself off to a 17 to start. Yeah, off of a 6-land hand. I mean, a 6-card hand, I should say. And he's looking at, there you get a chance, look at what he's got to choose from here. Brimaz, Sarkhan, Suspension Field, Magma Jet. What do you take, Randy?
Apparently Magma Jet. Is John defending elves? Is that what's going on? He's got more than one card. I guess we're still filling this out, but he's got a Voyaging Satyr in his hand that he needs to have live because he is land light again, it looks like.
There we go. He can
Yeah, it
start
sounds like he's
climbing back
mulling
in.
into no land hand into a 1-land hand. Is that what I'm hearing?
Okay. He can start climbing back in with that Eidolon of Blossoms.
Yeah.
Still needs a little help to get there, though.
Good.
Yep, freshly drawn off the top.
Off the top. Always the problem with Thoughtseize.
Yeah.
Can't deal with the
you've
card
already
on
said
top of
that
their
too.
library.
That's something I remember. I remember you saying that to Mike Flores when he played a discard deck at a Pro Tour.
15 years ago.
You know they still have all these good cards in their deck, right?
One to one.
Okay, yeah, so he's putting one card on top, one card on the bottom from the Scry from Magma Jet. And John has to pass the turn. He's going to be looking at a Brimaz in a moment. Or not. Nope, a Rabble Master. Possibly worse.
Slightly faster.
15.
John Bell's carry added.
Yeah,
It's not nothing, but
Good.
but it's not enough.
it's just had 2 miserable draws. I want to see what this deck does. Clearly people are enjoying the Green Devotion. There's another Green Devotion deck in the feature match area. Tony Pantalone, who got the first game from Park Jun-young on the King of the Hill
Right.
table, is playing Green-Black Devotion.
But not playing See the Unwritten, as
Correct.
far as I can tell.
Correct.
Playing something a little closer to the list we saw
The Ross
opening
Merriam
weekend.
list, yeah.
We have a problem with the
Wait,
mismatch
wait.
left. Yeah, your left shoulders don't match.
You 5 points. This not 5 points.
7 to 11. Oh, on to 10. Sorry.
Okay, you see the players
Wait,
making sure that-
Oh, what's
4, yeah, 30. Sorry, yeah. Okay, I'm at 10. You're
And then
Yeah.
you took one.
right season.
you take 1 point?
Yeah.
18.
there goes Brimaz.
Jeez.
Fighting side by side with the Rabble Master.
Do what you gotta do.
2 cards.
6.
Oh, sorry. Wrong card. Sorry. Draw. Good.
So Eidolon of Blossoms draws a card for John. Probably more than probably, totally willing to put that in the way of
Oh,
Rabble
yeah.
Master.
He's hoping he gets to block the Rabble Master
But,
with it.
uh,
He's kind of got one of those draws where it's like, well, he has to assume he's going to get to. It's like
Think
you
I-
can't. If
Pre-
he's got another burn spell, whatever, you just lose.
Pretty sure I saw a flash of lightning there in Yuya's hand,
Uh-oh. Yeah. John is going to pick up more than just the Eidolon.
Yeah.
John's going to pick everything else up, too. Extends the hand. Not much of a match, unfortunately. It's Magic. It happens sometimes.
And to be fair, that's what Yuuya's deck does. If you stumble,
Sure.
if this is not the matchup you can afford even the slightest hiccup on. I mean, John's opening hand might have been okay, against a deck that isn't able to bolt to mana creatures.
He's still mulliganed into a one-lander.
Yeah.
Tried to clear a path for his Wayfinder, but the Magma Jet came off. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
John's draw was clunky in any matchup.
Yeah.
It was fatal in this one.
So Yuuya Watanabe goes to 6-0.
Yeah, yes, he
Off
does.
to a solid start here.
And John's still in fine shape.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
5-1,
5-1.
obviously.
No one's going to feel bad for John.
I feel a little bad for him. Every time we put him on camera lately, he gets mana screwed.
So in this now we're over at the match. Is this Tony Portland?
Yeah.
So Tony Portland on your left playing Green Black Devotion, and he's playing against Park Jun Young playing Mardu Midrange.
Yeah.
Wow, these guys have so many non-basic lands. It looks like a draft deck.
Park Jun-young's been enjoying his seat at the King of the Hill table for a couple of rounds now. Would like to stay there. Down a game, though.
Yeah, and
Of course, they're into Pelucranos.
things are not looking great for him at the moment. Looks like a Genesis Hydra is on top there. Hero's Downfall for the Pelucranos. We're getting confirmation. Park leads 1-0?
No, Portland.
Okay. There you get a look at Park Jun Young's stats. 28 years old, 61 career pro points, over $10,000 in winnings. Yes, 4 Grand Prix top 8s. Which I imagine where a lot of those 61 pro points come from.
Yep. I mean, part of the MTG Mint crowd that's been traveling around the world lately. So
There you get a look at him and his jacket. And Courser Krufix attacks.
yeah, Portalon's version of this deck is 4 Eidolon Blossom, 4 Doomwake Giant. So he's got sort of all the Constellation goodies you could want.
Right, plus 4 Courser of Krufix to
course.
feed into that whole enchantment engine.
Yeah, and then the 4 Nykthoses to power out, a Nidalea, some Genesis Hydras, 3 Hornet Queens.
Woo.
Hornet Queen's a big game.
Commander cards in the house.
There's not, what do you do if your opponent resolves a Hornet Queen? Like, how do you attack them? Everybody's winning with creatures.
You
if you're not
crack your
playing
Perilous Vault.
Oh, you're cracking Perilous Vault, sure. Yeah. There's a couple end hostilities floating around. There's some a couple of Perilous Vaults floating around. But if you're not, combo killing them with Jeskai Ascendancy, I don't understand how you ever manage to attack through Hornet Queen.
Swat them down with Anger of the Gods.
Sure.
These are the options. They're not as
Hornet Queen's
good.
Point being, Hornet Queen, very good. And Nykthos powers it out.
There's your end hostilities. Clears the board. Portland's got a pretty full hand here.
Yeah, that's in from the sideboard. This end hostility. This is a one of in the sideboard, actually. It's like end hostilities. I've been watching Bark for a couple of rounds now. I didn't know he had end hostilities.
Is that a foil Eidolon Blossoms he just played?
Pretty.
Yeah?
I think that's the buy a box promo.
Ah, sweet. Should have bought 4 boxes.
Evidently. Oh, and another. It's a nice little card advantage engine he's building.
It's like,
No. Crackling Doom swoops down, kills one. Lots of Crackling Dooms floating around this weekend. That's a card I've seen kill a lot of creatures.
20.
Seems to be more popular than Mardu Charm in the Mardu list. They kind of sit right on top of each other.
Sure.
Mana cost wise, so you could got to decide which one you like better. But Crackling Doom seems to be the choice most people are making.
The edictiness of it.
Dazani evens his match against Shahar Shenhar, by the way.
Oh. Reigning player of the year looking to go 5-1
Yeah.
against the reigning world champion.
It's true.
Also looking to go 5-1.
Elspeth was the key to that game, apparently.
Been hearing that a lot over the last year or so.
Not as much this weekend. Also got some tokens from Marty Charm, apparently.
Okay, Tony Portland has just a voyaging satyr here after attacking.
Yeah,
with
Foxy
his idle
took the
bosses.
Genesis Hydra away. And here's Butcher.
The butcher of the horde.
19?
Yep, hero's downfall. Get rid of that guy. And then just bash. Bash for 3. Plays another wayfinder. I mean, another carry added. Just really looking for a big Genesis Hydra here.
Yes.
It looks like he found one.
Counting. Never a good sign when the Green Devotion player starts counting.
Okay. 2 to start. How many for X? All. There's a Genesis Hydra.
X is 7.
So what will I take? I'm gonna go
I
past-
won't draw these 5 lands.
Well, there's your Hornet Queen.
That'll do.
That's amazing. Right? It's like not only do I get a Hornet Queen, but I push 6 lands to the bottom
Right,
of my deck.
right. Well, shuffle.
Well, shuffle them in, yeah, but
Park Jun-young may, his reign as King of the Hill may be about to end. He's going to need to answer this board.
how many end hostilities is he playing? I have to
One?
assume. He's
One
just playing
in the sideboard.
Wow.
He's a Mardu deck. He's kind of aggressive. I mean, maybe more mid-rangey. I mean, I wouldn't call him an aggro deck, but I mean...
He says go. He's at 3. And some wasps, some Hornet Queen, some Eidolon. There we go. There's the hand. Tony Portland becomes the new king of the hill. He's 6-0.
Yes, sir.
And that's green black devotion with nothing unwritten to be seen there.
Yeah, he's got 10 PTs on his resume. Tony Portland.
Oh yeah, and a fixture on the European Grand Prix circuit.
Yeah, and also a fixture on the Croatian national team. He'll be in Nice at Worlds playing for Croatia for the 5th time.
Wow. So it sounds like we are moving our cameras over as Gabriel Nassif and Ari Lax are about to go into Game 3 here. Sounds like
Both our matches are headed to Game 3, right?
Yeah.
Dazani and Shenhar are sideboarding for Game 3. Nassif and Lax doing the same.
it sounds like they are close to getting underway as we watch these guys just make their final choices. They're like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, Game 2, we saw Lax win Game 1, but Nassif got his dig through times going. You get control for a little while, you dig through time, find a couple of things.
Dig through time, take something and another dig through time. And
Seems fine. Not great. Didn't seem very good.
The logic was that there's a bunch of random decks.
Ari Lax, one of the players, very high up on the list of
Could be against
people,
anything.
pro point leaders without a Pro Tour top 8. You know,
Sure.
we had a couple people cross that off recently, so he moves up a couple notches. You know, has a handful of top 16 finishes, but has still not broken through.
It's not my thing. It's not my jam. Okay, it might be my jam.
Last time we played, you were playing Insect. So
Yeah.
That sounds like Dazani and
different. There's a bit more.
Shenhar getting started with their game 3.
Just a little bit.
About to get start game 3 here.
I top-aided a GP with the Pyroheart Wolf deck.
What was that already? What was the combo?
You get a look at Gabriel Nassif, one of the
Their,
top 5 players of all time. Play the game.
Absolutely.
Your guy sideways.
I mean, who else would be the case for number 3?
Did it, like, provoke?
I mean,
That's the-
yeah, certainly the case was being made for Paulo for a little while. The case has been made for Bob.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, I think you could make a case for Bob. But I mean, Nassif's resume at this point is
Right,
just
he's
better.
just continued to play throughout there. And
Yeah, it's a
continued to
career
post
value
those
thing.
top
Like,
eights,
you want to
yeah.
talk peak value? Fine, we can have a conversation about
Sure.
peak value where this, but the consistent results Nassif put up over the course of, 10, 12, 14 years have just been incredible.
And so over the last couple of years, Nassif's been really solid and constructed, but has had some struggles during the limited rounds.
True.
Which have really held him back. And he got off to a really good start in this tournament.
Yeah, now he needs to not waste it, right? This was Tim Willoughby's call. Was in your article, right? Your Pro Tour preview article. Didn't Willoughby pick Nassif?
Yes. Yes, he did. Well, you picked, what, 32? 32 courses?
You told me to make a bold prediction. I decided it would sound bold, but yeah,
This is fine.
I was realistically expecting 20-some coursers in the top 8,
Okay, we're underway.
which is not looking super likely right now.
No. There you see Gabriel Nassif, we're talking about him. So
Yeah.
just 30 years old, about to pass, go across the 500 career pro point threshold this
Yeah.
season.
And looking for Pro Tour top 8, number 10.
yeah, looking for number 10.
He's second, right? Only John's got more? Pretty sure only John's got more.
Yes. There's a Thoughtseize.
So I see cut, stroke.
I'm sure Kai is writing me on Twitter right now, even though it's 3 in the morning if I'm wrong. I think Kai's tied with him at 9. PV's got like 8, 7 or 8.
Okay. Takes the dissolve with Thoughtseize. There you get a look at our relax. 147 career pro points.
That's a lot.
It's certainly a lot without a top 8, right? Because you also get a lot of those points in a top 8.
Yeah.
So
Gets a Hall of Fame vote by showing up this weekend, crossing
Yeah.
the 150 mark.
you see 7 Grand Prix top 8s for his career.
Yeah, the odds-on mid-range deck that he's playing is pretty popular. I mean, I certainly saw, as I was sort of leafing through deck lists as they came in this morning, there seemed to be a bunch of them running around. I haven't seen it a lot on camera, but it's definitely
Lift rolls at
one of the big
14.
players in the format.
Cast Obzon Charm.
2 cards. You've not drawn yet for turn? I just want to double check. You're on the draw.
Necro for 2.
Yeah.
Go.
And
Nassif got going on. Bunch of land,
Sure.
a counter, a removal spell, and a card drawing spell. Just what every control player wants.
an eminently Nassifi hand.
Jason's ingenuity makes sense. I
Yeah,
haven't really
I've
thought about that
seen
being the card. that's-
I've seen a lot of that this weekend in the control decks. Is that main deck, or are they sideboarding that?
Anything on my draw step?
Maybe.
Anything
Main?
on my draw step? Maybe.
That's fine.
I'll gain a life.
Seen a lot of Disdainful Stroke, too, although I've also seen a lot of Disdainful Stroke not being able to counter 3-mana spells. So a lot of good 3s.
You can try as hard as you want. It's never going to do
You
that.
may draw.
3 Jason's ingenuity in the main, alongside
Okay.
4 Dig Through Time.
Courser, Crufex attacks, triggers the raid for Wingmate Rock.
Oh, that's never resolving, right? They clearly point Disdainful Stroke at that.
There
What are you
go.
even thinking
There-
about, Gabe?
yeah,
Come on.
There's the Disdainful Stroke.
I mean, maybe if you had Perilous Vault in your hand, you could think about not
I know
countering
you
that.
have
Go.
cut.
You're up.
You hear Ari just checking off his list of cards. Says, I know you have cut. Do you know he has 2 Jace's Ingenuities and a Dig Through Time, though?
You're about to find out.
5 cards.
Yep.
Combat.
I mean, I think that this blue-black control deck matches up really well against green. I mean, we talk about how many coursers were expected. You know, there were so many in Atlanta. It's such an obviously good card. It's gotten better thanks to the fetch lands getting introduced to the format. So, I mean, you see people, I think, metagaming against that. Oh,
Yeah,
Elspeth?
here, yeah, Elspeth Sun's champion.
And Nassif does not have a counterspell for that one.
Draw free.
He's just going to draw some cards. But anyway, I mean, I think that the base green decks, the Courser's not a fast card. Like, it gives you nice incremental value over the course of a lot of turns, but, you know, if you're Andrew Cuneo and you figure, well, I mean, I'm really soft to Jackal Pups, but if nobody's going to show up with all the 2 1-for-1 in their deck, we can crush a green field. So, yeah, they built a deck that's really good against green.
But interestingly, the field has not looked as green as maybe people were expecting.
It's a lot of anti-Courser decks. It's a lot of decks that think they match up well against Courser Krufix running into each other. I mean, we'll see. It's really, it's going to take a lot of rounds for us to really start to get a sense of what's succeeding, I think.
See Tim Willoughby leaning in to refresh Nassif's hand, which now has some more cards in it. There you go. Look, there's the Perilous Vault. There's some counter magic.
Perilous Vault's the right answer. That's got time, right? I don't think Ari can do anything about that, can he?
Well, you know, we know there's a Thoughtseize, so he can't let it sit in his hand.
Oh, no, Nassif needs to play. If he plays Perilous Vault, he's going to get whacked for 5, but then he can untap, sweep away Elspeth, all of her tokens, and the Courser.
Go.
Yep. He's like, don't have overrun.
A Liliana Vest.
Yeah.
Or like Naturalize, right? I
6.
don't know how many people were worried about Perilous Vault coming in, though. You don't see a ton of artifact removal running around this format.
There you get a look at a handful of Planeswalkers in Ari's hand. 2 Nissa Worldwakers, the Ajani.
Nisa.
Yeah.
Here comes Nissa.
Yeah.
Animate a land.
Yeah.
Elspeth the 6. Make 3 more guys. Squad you. You're short 1 of cutting.
Yeah. Can't do anything. So take.
9. You go to 8.
Yeah.
That's Ari Lax. You hear him. You know, he knows he's got another Nissa Worldwaker in his hand.
Yeah,
So
no,
he's like,
I
"I'm
was
just
first
gonna
I was
push
thinking
you
this
as hard
looks
as
super
possible."
aggressive, but the fact that he's got a backup Nissa means he's
You
just
have a
essentially
ready to
cashing
make-
that Nissa in for 4
This is,
damage.
Nisa.
So this we have as a counter on it for now.
And right on top of everything, too. He's like, you can't cut. I see 1 land untapped and 3 cards in the graveyard. That's not going to get bring Murder's Cut into play. But, I mean, Nassif is going to get to sweep the board with that Perilous Vault.
Too many tokens. There we go.
I mean, that does get the land. I mean, Ari not only throws the Nissa into the vault, but he also is throwing that land into the vault now, too. Oh, non-land. Oh, the 4/4 hangs around. That's what's going on. Got it. The Perilous Vault only removes non-land, so Ari, by turning that land into a 4/4, it will survive the Perilous Vault.
And he won't have enough mana for the Murderous Cut still.
Perilous Vault is 5 to activate,
Yeah.
right?
And it exiles everything, so it's not going to put any fodder into his yard here.
Sure. I don't think... Has Nassif played a land this turn? I think he has.
Well, he had a land tapped last turn that came into play tapped. Yeah, I don't think he didn't have a land here.
But yeah, it doesn't have a land, so he cannot vault plus Murderous Cut. He's at 8. I mean, he can take 1 hit from that land, and he can activate the vault inside of combat, where there's not time for the other Nissa to come down and do anything. Tough spot, though, for sure. Is Nassif going to Thoughtseize here? Is that what he's thinking about?
Would certainly, I think, save him some damage over the
Right.
course of the next couple turns, but he can't necessarily know that. Yeah.
You are going to
There
have
he
to
is.
make a decision at some point, I believe.
People have been saying that to Nassif for as long as he has been playing Magic, Ari Lax.
Like as long as Lax has been alive.
Yeah,
right?
you will not rush him.
Vault.
Okay, so
Wow,
there
he's going to
goes the
vault on his turn.
Yeah.
That is surprising. What's
Now
the
he-
advantage of vaulting now?
Now he kind of has to Thoughtseize, doesn't he?
Yes. What's the? I'm not misremembering Perilous Vault, am I? No, I mean he.
Go.
How many cards in here?
I mean, I guess he takes away a Courser activation by doing it this way.
Right.
But it does open up Nissa. It does open up another Nissa coming down. If Lax has a land, he could play Nissa, turn another land into a 4/4, and then Gabe's in a super tough spot.
Well,
he's
then
just dead.
Dead.
Well, it's a tough spot. Yeah.
You did not play land last turn. Thoughtseize.
Sure.
So he thoughts no land for Ari, I guess here. He chooses
Hilariously, this actually turns on Murderous Cut. I'm not sure this Thoughtseize pre-combat is correct.
Oh wow.
Because now he can Murderous Cut. Yeah, that 4/4 is going to die now, and it wouldn't have before this Thoughtseize.
So yeah, negate, cut, downfall, seize.
I mean, he can take the Murderous Cut, obviously, but he kind of has to.
How much time do we have left?
20 minutes.
Plus.
Jeremy Desani just cast a Resolute Archangel to go back to 20 life on the back table.
Well.
I think that's our text feature match, too.
Cut.
Yeah, he takes
Yeah,
the cut.
so he does take the Murderous Cut. Here is the replacement Nissa. Not able to send a land over, but he is able to make another 4/4.
Yep.
Yep.
I'm
Go
not
ahead, keep going.
not sure what.
Hadn't thought about how badly Perilous Vault matches up against Nissa. The fact that those lands hang around is the whole game here. Oh, I guess he couldn't have waited on the Perilous Vault because a second Nissa activation would just make another land and kill
Right.
him. So, of course, he had to Perilous Vault main phase before the second Nissa activation.
Yeah, I certainly didn't think Gabriel Nassif was just being impatient. But boy, he would have loved to land there that turn.
Yeah.
Okay, there's land. He's just trying to figure out some way out of this.
He can summon a Pro Lake Agent. That blocks one of them. Maybe he won't make a third land. Oh, third land? Now what do I do?
Squad.
Can he dig into, like, Murderous Cut?
Probably not with
One step to the
enough
right.
fodder to do everything.
And Nassif is just looking at his options. I don't... Yeah,
Oh, there you
no,
go.
there's nothing he can do.
That
Wow.
sounds like the last of our feature matches because I believe Shahar Shenhar.
Yeah, Resolute
Just-
Archangel was not good enough.
Wow.
So Ari Lax goes to 5-1, and Obzon midrange gets the win there. Score one for the green decks, I guess, huh?
Yeah. That is not the M15 card interactions
Nissa versus Perilous Vault?
Nissa versus Perilous Vault that I was expecting to see. Welcome back to the booth. Brian David Marshall here with Hall of Famer Randy Buehler. And we just watched a couple of really interesting matches, a couple of takes on green black devotion, blue black control.
So Blue Black Control, by the way, that is the 4th consecutive feature match loss.
Oh wow!
It is 0-4 in the feature match area. I mean, these guys are winning off camera to get here. I mean, Nassif, I believe, he's doing all right. He's still 4-2, but that deck has not looked great on camera so far.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Still a small sample size, but starting to add up to a medium-sized sample size.
it may also be the kind of deck that sort of the guys who are playing it, who we want in the feature match area, are being able to play circles around maybe some lesser experienced players.
yeah.
But when you get two players
Sure.
who you want, the deck may lose some of its edge.
Yeah, I mean, part of the advantage of a deck like that is that anybody who kind of shows up with a random deck that, didn't have any idea, you're going to crush them. I mean, that's always been one of the advantages of Control, and it's why so many name pros tend toward Control, because they like the game that it gives them against random opponent on a random unknown deck. And they also I think that not very many of our sort of the name pros, the kind of people we tend to put in the feature match, went with Coursers and Caryatids.
Right.
Now, I mean, I think that's who the target was. This blue-black deck is supposed to beat up on blue. I mean, I think Nassif had a decent matchup there. I mean, Ari played it well, obviously, but I think blue-black is supposed to be favored against Abzan.
But
Not that game, though.
Yeah, Nissa certainly changed that around. It just
Yeah, it was Nissa was the key. The Nissa Perilous Vault interaction was really unfortunate for blue-black.
so it sounds like we have an interview lined up with Ari Lax.
Great.
So let's send it down to the floor where Tim Willoughby will give us a little more insight into what happened there in that feature match.
Hi, I'm Tim Willoughby here in the feature match area with Ari Lax. Now, this format looks kind of complicated because this round we saw you up against Gabriel Nassif with a pretty slow control deck. I know there's a lot of aggro decks in the field. How do you prepare for this sort of format?
So the cards in this format, there's just like a lot of powerful options, and unlike last year, the answers aren't so absurd that like you have this issue where it's like, I want to play this card, it dies. Great. So you have like Thoughtseize and Downfall as your answers, but like if you play anything but a black deck, you just don't have access to those. So the way I opted to prepare at least was just have powerful cards. Every card in my deck is just good everywhere. So that's one way. Other people on our team decided they wanted to be the person who just kills your opponent. The other thing that's a good strategy in these kind of formats is to be the deck that makes your opponent's cards blank. So like Nassif's blue-black control deck, we played, and honestly, I had tested that like I was actually going to play that deck up until I played this matchup and just got destroyed like 6 games in a row just because playing exactly the way I played, where it's just you keep playing good cards and they just run out of things.
So you were pretty happy to have that matchup when you got to the feature match area then?
I mean, he's a Hall of Famer playing a list that I know probably 2 of the 3 or 4 best players in the world. I know Huey and Owen are on that list. So, like, I can't really say I'm happy, but, if I'm going to play against Nassif in a matchup, I'll take that one. I felt pretty comfortable with it. And even game 1, I mulled into a hand that had a blank card and just came out ahead just by playing my spells, and they just all did their thing, and then he ran out of things.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the decks in the format are just full of really good cards, so you top deck super well.
Yeah, there's definitely a balance to be had. Like, there's a lot of cards in the format that are very situational and are very powerful in those situations, and you have to figure out how much of a concession you want to make to have each of those cards in your deck and just draw them at times where it's inopportune. For example, like Bile Blight is a great example of this. Bile Blight is one of the only 2-mana ways to do something in the format, but like you're staring down like Siege Rhino Sorin, you're like, I guess it kills the tokens, but that's not great.
So you went with the Siege Rhino plan as plan A, and it looked like it worked out pretty well.
As I put it, I want to say it's something absurd like of my constructed GP top 8s and PT top 16s, over half of them have been casting the card Thoughtseize. I didn't do enough of that last year, and I'm making up for lost time.
And it's working out pretty well. Congratulations on that, your win, and best of luck in the rest of the day and the rest of the tournament. Ari Lax.
All right, Ari Lax, always a great interview.
Yeah. Thoughtseize, still a good Magic card.
Yeah, and like you said, he said didn't play enough of it last year. It was available to me, and I chose not to play it at times.
So, summing up what happened in the feature match area this round, we had a couple more wins for Jeskai. Both Yuuya Watanabe and Shahar Shenhar won their matches with Jeskai. Yuuya 6-0, took down the kind of mana-screwed Jon Finkel. But yeah, Jeskai having quite the weekend so far. Ari Lax, though, says Abzan is the right guild, or the right clan to go for. So he wins over Gabriel Nassif. And then the King of the Hill match, the other match that we watched, Tony Pantalone, Green-Black Devotion, takes down Park Jun-young, and Tony will be back in the feature match area next round.
Excellent. It sounds like we are ready to throw it back to the news desk, though, and maybe get a little bit more look at who's doing well in the tournament and maybe seeing another deck or two up on the wall. So let's send it back to Rich at the desk.
All right, thank you very much to Brian David Marshall and Randy Buehler there. Well, we've got tons going on here at the news desk. In the next half hour or so, the player's going to take a little break, but plenty to show you. We've got interviews with Hall of Famers. We've got Louis Scott Vargas coming in, Ralph Levy coming in, Randy Buehler to talk about the Hall of Fame induction that happened a couple of nights ago. We've got a deck tech with Guillaume Matignon coming right up. But first, let's see our leaderboard. This is live as we speak, how the state of play is going here at Pro Tour Khans of Tarkir. So let's take a look, and there you see. So we have Yuuya Watanabe at 6-0, Sean McLaren 6-0, Tony Portolan there of Croatia. Then you've got Charles Hinkle, great story for him. This is his third Pro Tour. First debut was at Pro Tour Honolulu 2009. Mike Sigrist, the Washington, D.C. champion, he advanced to 6-0 with a win in the last round over Riccardo Biava of Italy. Now, Riccardo Biava, he's played in 2 Grand Prix lifetime, is 7-7 there. But he is living the dream. This is what happens when you go to your local PTQ and win. You get a shot. He's only just had his first loss of the day. Yuuya Watanabe, you know, in what in the end was an anticlimactic match, let's be honest, against Jon Finkel. As Jon came out of the feature match area, we're just like, yeah, well, you know, magic. It's happened to me once or twice over 20 years, for sure. Sean McLaren 6-0 over Paul Rietzl. That's Rietzel's first defeat, now at 5-1. You know that the king of the hill is Tony Portolan of Croatia, defeating Park Jun-young. Now, Masashi Oiso in the Hall of Fame from Japan. He's up to 5-1. He was in a domestic affair against Yoshihiko Ikawa. So Masashi Oiso up to 5-1. Peter Steinar of Denmark, who we saw earlier doing a deck tech with a terrifically interesting deck, he is up to 5-1. Fabrizio Anteri, the Venezuelan, who will be the England World Cup captain later in the year, he is at 5-1. He defeated Patrick Chapin, which means that Chapin, who opened up as 3-0 in draft, is now down to 4-2. Comfortably through to tomorrow, of course, because even 4-4 would get him in, but he will want a couple of wins to round out his day. But I can tell you that Guillaume Matignon of France is waiting for us. He is, of course, a former world champion, famously in that Player of the Year tussle, the shootout against Brad Nelson. Why don't we see what he's been cooking up as we head over to the video wall? Here's Guillaume Matignon with Zach Hill.
And she'll cue us in a minute.